Have you ever had one of those guns that is just that dream gun for you? That one gun that you want, and then you're never going to buy another gun again. For me, that was the Staccato CS. And the reason I stumbled upon the Staccato CS is A, it was very light, and B, it was very small, but it could also fit in my very large hands. I was able to hold some of these Staccato CSs at the gun range, but I was never able to afford them. Well, I finally was able to get my hands on a used one, which was super awesome. So I did recently take this thing to the range. I did put 250 rounds through this gun. When people say that it shoots like a larger firearm, like a Glock 19 or a larger frame full-size gun, they are 100% correct. I shot this thing next to my Glock 19, and my Glock 19 felt like a hand cannon compared to this gun. And this gun has a 1/2 inch shorter barrel. In case you were wondering, this does have a 3.5 inch barrel. If you want to get the specs, you can watch. I'm sure there's tons of videos out there that talk about the specs of the gun. That is not what this one is about. This is about my opinion on this firearm. But for a 3.5 inch barrel, it is a exceptional shooter. When they say that this gun is snappy, I really do not see where they're getting that from. My guess is those people probably have the other Staccatos, the higher end ones, and then they're coming down to this gun. Sure, this gun is probably more snappy than those guns are. But if you're coming from like the cheaper end, where I am from, and then you're coming up to this Staccato is not snappy at all. That is a very subjective term. Okay, this thing shot amazing. I was shooting great from 5 yards all the way out to 25 yards because that's as far as my indoor range went. I was able to hit the A zone the entire time, shooting slow, shooting fast. This gun actually shot better when I was shooting faster with it, which was sweet. So your split times were definitely a lot lower. So a few takeaways to this gun. First of all, I have extra large hands. I have really, really big hands. Okay, very stringy fingers. My hand does fit on this gun pretty well. You can see that the fingers are all the way at the edge, at the end here, but it's not on top of the bottom of the magwell. That is cool. If you have very meat hook type fingers, you might go off the bottom of this gun. I would hold one at the range before you decide to buy one. But the back here, it does kind of go a little bit low on my palm here. And I have found that QVO Tactical does make an extender back there to kind of give you a little bit more padding back there on this gun. And I am ordering one as we speak. So in the next video that I do, you're going to see that modification on there. And I think that's going to do a lot better for my big hands. Continuing on with the big-handed part, this thing is very girthy, okay? The circumference around is very large. And you're going to find that across the whole lineup of Staccatos. If you have a very small hand or a medium-sized hand, you might struggle with this gun ever so slightly. I'll give you an example. My big, extra large, long-fingered hands, I can't even reach, let's get my face out of the way, I can't even reach this mag release. Okay, I actually have to break my grip to release the magazine. Okay, same thing goes with the slide release. Okay, you're going to see that slide release, see if I can get it in, there we go. That slide release is really far forward there. And even with my big fingers, with my normal grip, I cannot reach that slide release lever. In terms of the actual slide, what I have found is when I insert the new mag, okay, my support hand is already here. All right, I just drop the slide with my support hand thumb, and it goes straight down like that. Now, I just did a big no-no in the 2011 world. You should never drop the slide on an empty magazine. It's never a good idea. But I did that for you guys because I love you guys. But that's what I would do. Insert mag, drop the slide with my support hand, and then get my hand right back on there. It is super light. It is about 22, 23 ounces. That kind of brings it around the Glock 19, if not a little lighter than the Glock 19, which is super awesome. I will tell you, it shoots a lot better than the Glock 19. Night and day difference there. I will say, as of the grip is a little bit longer than height-wise than the Glock 19, and I actually like that better because I could never fit my big hands around the Glock 19 frame. I always had to put a magwell on there in order to get my full hand on there. So that part was awesome. All right, the trigger is great. I am super happy that this is a hammer-fired gun with an external safety there and there. Okay, and the reason for that is because this trigger is so light, barely pushing it, okay, and it's going off. Super light trigger. They say it's a 4.5 pound trigger. That's a bunch of baloney. This is, because of the way it's made, it feels like a 2 pound trigger press. It really does. Okay, but one thing you're going to have to get used to is the hammer fired way that they design a gun. They design them with these safeties on there, just like they did the 1911s. Okay, now the way you train with this gun is that you have to train the safety. Okay, the safety should always be on. It should always be cocked and locked, ready to go, but the safety should always be on. Okay, and what you're going to do is when you draw from concealment and you clear your body, that is when your finger swipes down on the safety. Okay, so go from here, I get to my retention zone, I swipe down, and then I bring it out. That is the problem I've seen with a lot of people who do these CS videos or these hammer-fired videos, is they don't understand hammer-fired guns. They think it's really cool, but they don't understand it. Okay, when you get to the retention area, you clear your body, that is when the safety comes off. I have seen countless videos, safety on, safety on, safety on, safety comes off. Okay, that is not the correct way to shoot, because sometimes you're going to need to shoot from retention. Okay, you need to make sure that that safety is off at retention, so I can shoot from here or I can shoot out here. While you're shooting as well, if you're new to hammer fired guns, okay, your thumb should be on top of the safety the entire time. You're keeping that safety down. It gives you a nice ledge for your thumb to go, and you're just going to keep it there. Your support hand is going to go inside and underneath that safety. Okay, I don't care if your thumbs are down, thumbs up, it doesn't really matter, but keeping that thumb on top of that safety the entire time you are shooting. Okay, and when you're about to holster, swipe that thing up and you are safe to holster going back. Last thing I want to talk about on this gun for this particular video is what optic I chose. And now there's a reason I chose this optic. Okay, I chose the Delta Point Pro for this optic. And the reason for that is because it is the only optic that fits flush with the slide. You do not need an optic plate on there. You do not need to buy a $160 optic plate, but you do need to buy the rear backup iron, just the backup. All right, that's about 60 bucks. Now that's something that a lot of these videos aren't telling you. If you're going the Delta Point Pro, you still got to pay the $60 for the rear sight, because when you take this all off, the rear sight goes off with it and you can't put it back on. Okay, now the reason I'm going to tell you, if you're going the Delta Point Pro route, buy the backup iron sight. And the reason for that is it comes not only with the backup irons, but it comes with little posts that you put inside the slide of the gun. They're just little tiny metal posts, and they just kind of sit in there. And then your optic goes on top of those metal posts and it secures it a lot better than just having the 2 screws in there. Okay, and not only that, the backup iron sight connects right to the Delta Point Pro optic. And then you screw you screw the optic in and you screw the iron sight in, so they're both secured independently of each other, even though they're connected. I have really enjoyed this optic. This is the first time I've ever bought a Delta Point Pro. It is a super nice optic. It looks like they got this aluminum or metal shroud that goes around the outside of the optic, protecting it. I've had no issues through the first 250 rounds with the optic itself. I've had 0 malfunctions with the actual gun itself. It fires super nice. My groups are incredibly tight. I'm talking like shots are touching each other tight, as long as you're doing your part with the trigger. This is a super exciting gun, guys. I am going to do more videos on this gun. This is just the first 250 rounds. I want to give you my thoughts on this, especially from a poor guy saving up to get this gun. Okay, I don't have a lot of money and could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a bunch of 2011s. Like, this is most likely going to be my only one that I buy. If I buy another one, I'm more than likely going to sell this one for another one. However, I have not had a chance to conceal carry this because I don't even have a holster for this yet. It is on the way. I'm trying the Safariland Incog holster from Haley Strategic. Trying that one first. That is coming in here probably on Friday of next week, I guess. If you have any recommendations on holsters, please let me know. I would love to test out some different holsters for this gun. I bought this gun to carry this gun. This is not a safe queen. I hate having firearms that are safe queens. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. When I start carrying this thing a little bit more, I'm going to do another video on how it carries. I appreciate each and every one of you if you made it this far in the video. Do the YouTube thing, subscribe, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. Remember to train hard, get strong, be a protector. If no one said they love you today, I love you guys. God bless you all.